Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
Yeah, good afternoon, Bart.
Hello, who is this?
Hi, my name is Jonathan in Vancouver, Washington.
Hi, Jonathan.
Yeah, I got a 1-2 hand for you.
Okay.
Uh, um, about effective stacks between me and the villain is about $300+.
Okay.
So middle position raises to $12, but 3 spots behind the big blind.
Okay.
The button calls, and I'm in the small blind.
Okay.
I look down to pocket kings.
Okay.
So I 3-bet to $30. And goes back to the original raiser. He 4-bets to 75. Button folds. I call.
Let me just ask you something real quick here, John. Why did you make it so small? I mean, MP1 to 12 button calls, and you just made it 2.5x here with kings from out of position. Well, was there some thinking behind this?
Well, with the villain, I haven't seen him before.
Yeah.
So he's kind of an unknown quantity with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe if I bumped it up a little bit, you would call with some mediocre aces or whatever.
So
I don't know how bluffy he is, but
so you were just trying to get him to call with hands that you think might not call a regular size 3-bet here.
Yeah. I mean, I thought maybe I could get the worst to call, and
because
flop and
from out of position, if you were to make a pot size 3-bet here, it'd be up to about 50. You know what I mean? And it's I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad, and usually you can actually dink around with sizing quite a bit when you're kind of on the shorter side. Now, he did open a 6x, so the pot is ballooned up a little bit, like as opposed to him opening to like say 6 call and you making it 30. I mean, the other thing too is that if you do make it small with kings and he calls and then like say the other guy overcalls with an ace, they're actually getting the proper odds to call you to flop an ace. I mean, that's just another thing of note. When I would dink around with small sizing is if when the stacks are a little bit shorter and I had aces here. I would tend to make this a little bit larger. You could make it 3x here, maybe make it 40, something like that. It's not a huge thing. It's not a huge deal because of the fact that it went to 6x preflop. But when he 4-bets you to 75, now, does that usually mean to you at 1-2 in your game that this is always aces?
Yeah, that was the first hand that popped on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, he's a little bit unknown. And usually we're playing on the weekend, so maybe he's a weekday player.
Yeah.
It kind of strikes me as a younger, late 20s, somewhat professional with the headphones on his head.
Mm-hmm.
So, so...
I mean, before you get to the flop, I'll tell you my thinking here, too, is that if I were this kid here... are you a guy that's like, how old are you? Or just approximation?
40 plus.
Okay, so if I was this kid and I was playing 1-2, again, this kind of goes back to the great debate that we were having before. Normally when a guy makes it just 30, even though we would be wrong in this case, when a guy just makes it, say, 2.5x out of the small blind, normally that's not going to be one of the primo hands unless it's like, I guess maybe aces. But I wouldn't think that it would be kings all that much because you sized it so small. Now, I've talked about how when you do mess around with sizing a little bit, it actually encourages your opponents to increase their bluffing frequency. So if this kid thought that you never really have a hand right here because of this small sizing, this might be one of the times when he was actually coming back over the top to win it with like ace-queen, or he thinks that you're just going to fold. You know what I'm saying? So I almost want to just get it in here after he makes it 75. At that point, the pot would be like 162. You've got 225 left. So you could just move in and I mean, you can certainly play a game of calling, but you guys only have about one pot size, just over one pot size bet left here, right? I mean, the pot's going to be about
Right.
170 and you've got 225. I mean, you're going to have to go with
Yeah.
any non-ace flop, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you call.
Uh, but I call,
Yep.
so we go to the flop.
Yep.
Flop is Jack 10-7, all diamonds.
Do you have the diamond in your hand?
I do.
You
I
do.
have
So
the
you've
king
got.
of diamonds in my hand.
Okay.
So
So.
I check,
Yep.
and the villain
Hmm.
puts out 80.
Yeah. Just get it in. I mean, just
And
get it in.
I did not. I did
I
not
mean,
get it in.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. You're gonna run into. You're gonna run into. Um. The ace, aces with the ace of diamonds sometimes, but you're also gonna run into like. You could run into like ace of diamonds, king X, ace of diamonds, queen X. I mean, if he bets 80 here and you call, the pot's already 170, 250, 330. The pot's going to be 330 and you've got like 150 left. So if you just move in, the pot's going to be like 480, 150 for him to call. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Like it's such a weird spot with the stack sizes to play it this way pre that here you just want to just get it in. You're never folding,
Yeah.
and he's going to be getting a good reverse price here. So, but it sounds to
Yeah.
me like you called.
I did. I did call.
Uh huh.
So to the turn we go. Eight of spades on the turn. I
Okay.
check again,
Mm-hmm.
and the villain checks back.
So check, check.
And so we go to the river.
Yep.
River is a 5 of diamonds.
This is very, very interesting. So now your question is, what's the play here, right?
Right.
What is the play here? So when we think about this here, so all you lose to is the king of diamonds, right? I mean, excuse me, you only lose to the ace of diamonds, right?
Correct.
Now he could have the ace of diamonds, sure, but in general, I'm not a huge, huge fan of checking to check call the river unless there are certain circumstances that are met. And those circumstances are if our opponent is going to value own themselves with worse, or if our opponent is going to bluff. Now, because it's 1-2, and I don't know the skill level of this kid, it wouldn't shock me, John, if the kid checks back the queen of diamonds if you check to him here. Yeah, that actually wouldn't shock me. That he might it
Okay.
might actually go check check. However, the way that this hand is played out, I actually think that there is more value in check calling the river than betting, because I think that if he has absolutely nothing here, and what I mean by absolutely nothing is no diamond. Let's make the assumption that if he has no diamond and you bet, he's going to fold. I think that we can make that assumption. If he
Right.
has no diamond here, he doesn't have a pair, like, he's got ace king of spades or something like that, he very well might bluff at it. So I think that there's more value in check calling here with your second nut than actually betting it to get called by the third nut. I think you do yourself a disservice by betting and getting his bluffs to fold out than by checking and sometimes giving him the green light to bluff. And you have a very strong second nut hand here, a good hand to bluff catch. So, because those are really the two things that are going on here. I mean, it would suck if it goes check and he checks back the queen of diamonds, right? But
Yeah.
if he's got the queen of diamonds and you bet the river, like, what does he beat? He loses to the ace and he loses to the king. A lot of players at this level don't think that way and they'll just call anyways, but it looks to me that this hand is setting up in a way where it's actually more valuable to check and call as opposed to bet.
Oh, so you would rather have me check call as opposed to leading out?
Yeah,
So
somebody in the
induce a
live
bluff?
chat said that you could bet. Oh no, he's disagreeing with me about pre-flop. Another alternative line is for you to bet stupid small and call off to try to induce. But again, though, I think it's probably better to check as opposed to bet stupid small, because the problem with betting stupid small to induce is that he's going to have the ace of diamonds sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're going to lose in those times, and there's no guarantee that he's always going to bluff raise at the end. So if his hand is weighted towards like 2 or 3 times more value hands when you bet stupid small to induce, you're going to lose more often than you're going to win. and you're going to lose that
Okay.
money. You see what I'm saying? So what did you do here at the end?
Okay. Okay. So I lead out.
Okay. And how much did you lead?
100.
So the pot is 170, 380 or 390. We said that. And you lead out for 100 and you only have like 150
Yeah,
left, right?
$100, something like
So
that.
you
Yeah.
bet 100 of your 150.
Right.
Yeah. See, that's the problem with that is that now he can't bluff you. You know what I mean?
hmm
He's never going to bluff you, trying to bluff you off of $50.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So you bet
Yeah.
100.
Yeah. Yeah. So I lead out for $100. Um, and then the villain ships it over the top
So
for his
for 50
his
more?
remaining chips.
For 50 more?
Yeah, he ships it. He ships it in or yeah over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
it's
mean, the thing
a
is
little bit
that
more than 50. Yeah.
I mean, when I did the
So
math, it seemed like you only had about 150 left. If you bet 100 into 390, was that 490, 590? The
yeah.
pot's going to be like 640, like 50 for you to call. I mean, yeah, this is probably not going to be a bluff, but you're getting probably 13 to 1 here. Um, I mean, it's just one of those times when I'm at this level getting those pot odds, I'm just not going to fold the second nuts if I'm getting over like 10 to 1. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I assume you called.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
I called,
Mm-hmm.
and he flips over pocket aces with the ace of diamonds.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but your comments on pre-flop raising are interesting. I thought it was actually a pretty good pre-flop raise, but
I just thought, I mean, I think it's a little bit small, and you
okay.
don't start, and then you see people react a little bit differently, and it increases, like I said, their bluffing frequency, which isn't really necessarily a bad thing, but
hmm
they might show up with more non-ace ace hands because you sized your hand like this. You know what I mean? As a very, very small three bet. But I do think that actually well, I think the flop is just to get it in, for sure. You're just getting in the flop, given these stack sizes. And
Okay.
I think the river's also interesting too because I think the river is a check call. Because I think that there are enough bluffs here when a guy has absolutely no showdown value when the fourth diamond comes out. There's enough bluffs where it's going to be of more value for you to check and call than to bet to try to get looked up by like the queen of diamonds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I thought besides aces, I thought he might have pocket queens with the queen of diamonds. Could also have pocket jacks or the set of jacks. Um, Flopped a set of jacks, and I might be, I don't know, value betting on the river with those two ranges right there. But
sure, no, and I agree. I mean, that's really what no, and that's valid. That those hands are
hmm
probably going to check back the river. But again, my question is that are those hands going to call the river? You see what I'm saying? Because like if he's got a set of jacks and it's Jack 10 7 with three diamonds, right?
yes,
I'm sorry, I wrote it as two diamonds there. If it's Jack 10 7 with three diamonds on the flop, and you check call, and now the turn's an 8 and it goes check check, and now the river is a fourth diamond, and you bet.
yes,
What what is pocket jacks beating there? Like what did you check call the flop with? Like you would have to have ace king without a diamond that you're turning into a bluff. You see what I'm saying on the river when a fourth diamond
hmm
rolls off. So and the queen of diamonds, and again, this might be a little bit too advanced for 1-2. I might be giving this guy too much credit. But the queen of
yeah,
diamonds doesn't really beat anything either when you bet the river. It's not like it's monotone and then the board busted out. The fourth diamond came in at the end. You see what I'm saying? So I
yeah.
think that's why I think that there's more value in checking and calling here than actually for betting. Now, Goombas
Okay,
said, can you fold the river for 50 more when it's never a bluff? Again, like I said to John, if I'm getting 15 to 1 or whatever it is, 12 to 1 at
yeah.
1-2,
13-1, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm probably not going to be folding the second nuts all that much. You know what I mean? I've just
yeah,
seen
yeah.
spazzy stuff. Who knows? You know what I mean? I've seen spazzy stuff. Um, so, anyways, thanks for the call, John. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. Have a good day.
All right, cool. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out CrushLivePoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.